Well, the strategy going forward is that we don't stop organizing in terms of turning out the vote.
The race for U.S. Senate in California heating up with the two candidates, one from each party, now heading for a face-off in that November general election. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the West Coast Wrap. I'm Frank Malakote. Voters in California went to the polls yesterday on Super Tuesday. And in the race for Senate, two top candidates were Democrat Adam Schiff and Republican Steve Garvey. Schiff focused much of his primary campaign on elevating Garvey and preventing a runoff with another fellow Democrat. Strategy worked, knocking out Katie Porter and Barbara Lee. Fox 11's Phil Schuman has reaction from voters and political analysts about what to expect in the run-up to that general election.
From the leafy Burbank suburb, which has been Adam Schiff's home base for decades.
That Schiff finished number one is fine with me because 99% chance of victory in November.
To the Democratic Party headquarters in Sacramento, to his potential colleagues in the U.S. Senate, the thinking is the November election is Schiff's to lose. And now?
I know it's early, but what would be the strategy going forward?
Betty Yee is the vice chair of the California Democratic Party.
Well, the strategy going forward is that we don't stop organizing in terms of turning out the vote. Congressman Schiff really has, I would say, the advantage going into November. We want to keep that momentum up.
You helped us build the biggest grassroots campaign for Senate in California history, and I cannot thank you enough.
An advantage Schiff did not get to expand upon last night, his speech to supporters in Hollywood drowned out by pro-Gaza protesters. As for his rival, Republican rookie Steve Garvey, at his primary night party in Palm Desert,
welcome to the California comeback.
He talked about a California comeback, but that has to continue to build and expand for him to have a chance at winning in November.
I think Garvey has a very small chance. I wouldn't rule him out, but I don't.
USC political science professor Christian Gross, looking at the breakdown of California's registered voters, explains why Garvey would be a long shot to win.
For Garvey to win, he has to win Republicans, independents, and has to get some Democrats to switch to his side, or he has to mobilize Republicans at such a high level that we haven't seen in a decade or more in California politics.
And that's unlikely in your view?
I think it's pretty unlikely.
And that was Phil Schuman reporting. The U.S. race in California has turned out to be the most expensive Senate race in state history. A New Mexico jury today convicted movie armorer Hannah Gutierrez-Reed of involuntary manslaughter in the deadly Rust movie set shooting. Prosecutors argued that Gutierrez-Reed was negligent, careless, and thoughtless leading up to the death of cinematographer Halna Hutchins. Gutierrez-Reed was found not guilty of the charge of evidence tampering. Alec Baldwin, meanwhile, who has pleaded not guilty, was pointing the prop gun at Hutchins when the gun went off, is still awaiting trial for an involuntary manslaughter charge. On California's Central Coast, authorities have recovered a car that's linked to the deadly mass shooting at a birthday party in Monterey County, but search continues for three gunmen. The shooting happened on Sunday in King City, southeast of Salinas. Monterey County Sheriff's Office says the car, a silver Kia sedan, was found in an unincorporated area of the county. It had been reported stolen last month. 4 people were killed in that shooting, including a woman who was celebrating her 32nd birthday. 7 others were wounded, 2 of them critically. California state lawmakers are considering a proposal that would require school districts to hire an armed law enforcement officer to patrol each of its campuses. Current state law allows school districts to decide whether to hire armed or unarmed officers. Now, if that bill becomes a law, it would be a state-mandated program requiring the state to reimburse each district for its cost. We are learning more about cyber attack of an Arizona-based healthcare tech company. One of the largest healthcare tech companies, Change Healthcare, reportedly paid $22 million all in ransom in cyber attacks. The attack began on February the 21st, and patients with Change Healthcare insurance plans are now facing higher charges because pharmacies cannot check their insurance coverage.
And unfortunately, we end up getting the brunt of it because we are that middleman, but there's absolutely nothing that we can do about it. Absolutely nothing.
It's a bad day for the good guys in cybersecurity. It's unfortunate to see the bad guys winning and getting these types of massive payments. We have to stop paying ransoms because it's fueling this criminal enterprise.
Even after this payment, some pharmacy owners said their system has not been restored fully just yet. Chief of Veteran Affairs in Salt Lake City today announced a major expansion in health care for veterans. As Spencer Joseph reports, the change will shorten the timeline for veterans to receive care.
We're excited because this likely means that thousands more veterans in our catchment, which affects Utah, parts of Idaho, and Nevada, will now become eligible for care and benefits that they weren't previously eligible for.
The PACT Act has helped millions of veterans across the country, but way ahead of schedule, a big change is happening.
What is the difference between the PACT Act yesterday and today?
The difference between the PACT Act yesterday and today is that the timelines that were originally in place that spanned out to 2032 have now been condensed to be effective today. So
Matt Critchfield is the Chief of Health Administration Services at the VA in Salt Lake. He can now see thousands more veterans and treat them in VA healthcare facilities because of this change.
We're ready here at the VA Salt Lake City healthcare system to accommodate the influx of veterans that we expect from this change.
And it's regardless of whether they've been approved for monthly benefits.
If you're 0% or whatever denied, you still get health care.
Chris Hawley is the executive director of the Salt Lake office for the Veterans Benefits Administration. And as a veteran himself, when they're able to help more people, it's a great day.
What is it like to see those in Utah and a little bit beyond be able to be helped by your office and their office?
Oh, it's fantastic. These are life-changing benefits we're giving folks.
While today's change doesn't affect his office, they're also working hard to get benefits out as fast as possible.
So last year with the rollout of the PACT Act, we did the most claims we've ever done. We had about 2.3 million claims. This year we're on pace to do 2.6 million. And our grant rate's 77%, so really high grant rate. And we've paid out $31 million.
So while the expansion will have wide-reaching impacts, veterans will have to go through the process. So both are making a plea to those out there. If you think you're eligible, apply.
It's not a matter of first come, first serve, or you're more injured or hurt than I am.
We're not going to run out of money. We're not going to run out of benefits. The hospital will expand. We're going to take care of our veterans. That's a bottom line. No matter how many there are, the door's open, and we are going to take care of you.
And if you want more information to be able to see if you do qualify, head to our website, fox13now.com, where we'll link up all of the VA information on how you can get these benefits if you qualify. Spencer Joseph, Fox 13 News, Utah.
The legal psychedelic therapy industry is beginning to take shape in Colorado. Regulators recently unveiled the first drafts of rules regarding education, training, and licensing for those facilitating psychedelic therapy. Recommendations were also made for the growing and testing and labeling of psilocybin mushrooms that will be used for the therapeutic purposes. Regulators say the drafts could change after public input. Authorities in Washington are looking for the thieves who stole a very expensive puppy. Police say two men walked into a pet store in the community of Puyallup over the weekend and stole a French bulldog puppy worth $5,400. Police say the men drove away in an older Toyota Camry. Coming up, a small plane crashes in a Washington neighborhood. How its special equipment likely saved everyone on board that plane. Also ahead, the first of its kind pre-K program for blind children in Nevada. How it differs from other traditional education for the visually impaired. Stay with us.
And in weather, here's our live camera looking out toward the San Francisco Bay Area, the Bay Bridge. It has been an unsettled day with showers and thunderstorms, even approaching Southern California. The weather pattern is changing around, and we'll have the update coming up.
Welcome back. A small plane equipped with a parachute crashed in Washington yesterday. This happened yesterday in Bellevue. The pilot and passenger were not injured. Parachute deployed as the plane came down in a wooded neighborhood. Officials say the plane is a Cirrus SR-22 and it was built with a parachute system known as CAPS. Cause of the crash still under investigation. Chair of the National Transportation Safety Board telling lawmakers Washington-based Boeing is not providing enough documentation in its probe of that January 5th Alaska airline mid-air door panel blowout. Fox's David Spunt has details now on the investigation.
It's absurd that 2 months later, we don't have that.
NTSB Chair Jennifer Homendy not holding back her frustration at Boeing. At a Senate hearing Wednesday, Homendy told lawmakers the company is withholding information from her investigators, including records indicating who worked on the door plug that flew off a 737 MAX 9 mid-flight in January.
We know for a fact that there is a team that deals with the doors in Renton. There's an entire team of 25 people and a manager.
A preliminary report last month found 4 bolts that help keep the door plug in place were missing after the panel was removed during a repair job last September. Homendy says despite repeated requests, Boeing never provided records on that repair or even said if they kept those records. Lawmakers were stunned at Homendy's testimony.
Well, I will say that is utterly unacceptable.
Hours after the hearing, Boeing submitted a full list of its 737 door team. It also addressed the issue of documentation, writing, quote, if the door plug removal was undocumented, there would be no documentation to share. We will continue to cooperate fully and transparently with the NTSB's investigation. While Homendy didn't suggest any intentional wrongdoing, she did stress the delay would hold up the NTSB's overall probe. Investigators began interviews with workers at Boeing's plant in Washington state on Sunday that will likely continue all week. The hearing comes after the FAA gave Boeing 90 days to respond to quality control issues raised by the agency and industry experts. In Washington, David Spunt, Fox News.
Las Vegas is testing out the future of airport screenings with self-security checks. It's a 6-month trial at the Harry Reid International Airport reserved for travelers with TSA pre-check. Here's how it works. Passengers arrive at the checkpoint and then a screen guides them through the bag check and the body scan. Though some say it feels like a self-checkout at a grocery store, TSA says this is likely not going to be rolled out at every airport, and it's testing to see what can make it a little bit smoother. A new task force in Washington is focused on analyzing the risk of artificial intelligence while maximizing its benefits. Attorney General Bob Ferguson's proposal for this AI task force passed the legislature. The task force is expected to convene technology experts, industry representatives, labor organizations, and civil liberty groups to discuss AI benefits and risks. It will meet at least twice a year. The goal is to submit a final report with recommendations to the governor and legislature by July the 1st of 2026. Silicon Valley-based Meta facing backlash from elected officials over the way it's responding to a rise in account takeovers across its platforms. In those takeovers, bad actors compromise accounts, change passwords, gaining data and information access. Bloomberg reports some states have experienced an over 700% jump in account lockouts between 2022 and 23. And in response, a bipartisan coalition of 40 attorneys general, including California's Rob Bonta, they have signed off on a letter of concern sent to Meta. They're calling for the company to increase its investment in response and mitigation tactics to protect consumers from the harm of hackers. We did reach out to Meta for a response, and we have not heard back just yet. Police in the San Francisco Bay Area say they have broken up a sophisticated fencing operation. Alameda Police Department showed off $75,000 worth of stolen goods from stores like Old Navy, Kohl's, LensCrafter, Ross, TJ Maxx, Walgreens, Walmart, Safeway, and Nordstrom.
What we found in there was incredible. We're still counting up the total loss, but it's somewhere in the area of $75,000.
Police say they also seized $10,000 in cash and multiple vehicles. One person was arrested. Investigators say more arrests are likely coming in the future. Police in Kirkland, Washington arrested the third and final suspect in an organized retail theft ring targeting more than 24 locations around Puget Sound. This is the very latest theft haul from a Lululemon store. Police say some $10,000 worth of leggings were stolen. Officials recovered the stolen goods after making a traffic stop. They estimate the suspect stole over $80,000 worth of goods over a 7-month crime spree. And students in Nevada have a new pre-K program specially designed for those with visual impairments. One of the main skills students learn at the Nevada Blind Children's Foundation in Las Vegas is reading and writing Braille. The first of its kind class had something that's more advanced than traditional Braille machines. They have screens so teachers can monitor students' progress and the critical skills they will need throughout their lives.
It's a lot of strength, motor strength that they need, so they will learn all of those motor skills in that pre-K classroom, either playing with Play-Doh, stringing blocks into, a shoestring.
The classes started Monday, and so far 3 students are enrolled in the pre-K class. There are 7 more spots available, and the school welcomes students of all abilities as part of their inclusion program. All right, the Sierra has seen a lot of snowfall over the last week, and that means plows have been working day and night to clear the roadways as quickly as possible. Video out of Reno showing crews working to clear roughly 7 feet of snow covering a highway there. Storm that pummeled the region have mostly passed through, making conditions ideal for skiers and snowboarders. And our meteorologist, Mark Tamayo, is here with a look at conditions. And Mark, I think the entire West Coast would like to see a little sunshine. Can you help us?
Yeah, at least parts of the West Coast we can definitely deliver, Frank, as we head into your Thursday forecast. As far as today, though, pretty active weather, as you can see, focused in California. All the result of this big trough here, this big area of low pressure, in fact, is becoming closer on the radar. Not a lot of activity up in the Pacific Northwest, but down in the San Francisco Bay Area, a lot of lightning strikes earlier today and some flood advisories as well. So this was the radar throughout the afternoon hours and into the evening hours. And down towards Southern California, as you can see, a lot of action from Santa Barbara to Los Angeles to Oceanside to San Diego. In fact, we do have flood advisories right now posted this evening for all these areas in green from San Luis Obispo down toward San Diego. Now, checking out the view today in Southern California, you can see those storm clouds out toward LAX. Temperature is 65 degrees in San Francisco. Some off and on rain showers and even some thunderstorms throughout the day. Temperatures in San Francisco in the upper 50s. And up in Seattle, you can still see some clouds out there. A cool afternoon with temperatures only maxing out in the mid 40s, and that'll be the story once again for tomorrow. Temperatures climbing into the 40s. So here's kind of the breakdown. Lots of sunshine for Seattle tomorrow, clearing for San Francisco. Now this area of low pressure will eventually move out to the east. So as a result, shower chances, at least the chance of some showers closer to Phoenix for tomorrow. And that the forecast model is picking up on that. So here is the progression with the rainfall and the snowfall. Notice it is dry up in the Pacific Northwest. We clear things out for the Bay Area. So this is tomorrow morning. Chance of some lingering showers for us for Southern California, as you can't see near Thursday. But looks like the main action could be moving out to the east, especially approaching Arizona. So as a result, they do have the shower chances for tomorrow. As you can see, the breakdown coming up over the next 3 days. Seattle gets a sun cloud mix for tomorrow with some rain chances going up as we head toward the weekend. For San Francisco, finally 2 sunny days in a row, Thursday and Friday. The slight chance of some rain on Saturday. And then down in Southern California, those rain clouds will try to move on out of town. Still a chance of some rain showers for tomorrow. But as you can see, that rain cloud is closer to Phoenix for tomorrow. Temperatures will be approaching the low to mid 60s. So sunshine makes a comeback for parts of the West Coast. But thankfully, we're not talking about any major storms headed our way. Looks like maybe some rain showers moving out to the east, approaching Arizona for tomorrow. Frank.
I think we've had enough.
Mark.
Yeah. Okay. Storms anyways. Thank you, sir. Still ahead here on West Coast Wrap, how a rare bird is causing some problems at one of the biggest attractions on the Las Vegas Strip. Plus. A podcaster narrowly escapes injury when a huge tree comes down while he's live streaming. More on that when we come back. In Southern California, a huge oak tree came down in a North Hollywood park, and it was all caught on a live podcast. As Fox 11's Christina Gonzalez reports, gave that podcaster quite a scare.
We're podcasting, the podcast is called Apocalypse Soon, deal with climate breakdown, all this stuff.
And then this happened.
Oh, get over here. And I started to see this thing fall. And if you look at it, I just escaped like the tentacles of this tree.
Yes.
Like the branches just missed my face.
The enormous tree is now cordoned off. City officials telling Fox 11 other trees at North Hollywood Park have uprooted with recent heavy rains. But this type of close call, let alone live during a podcast, is new.
People are here, they're checking up on our health. That really felt like I was running for my life at some point.
In all seriousness, I mean, this could have been somebody in a picnic with their ear pods on.
Yeah. Luckily, it was two very fit gentlemen who had the skill and ability to get out of the way.
Can you tell the producer is also in stand-up? So when a tree comes down in the middle of a comedic podcast that deals with climate change, you have to go with it.
We thought we might have brought it on, by some sort of manifestation of talking about the climate breakdown.
We're very spiritual people.
That's right.
The environment is dying. I have ants still on me. But we tried to continue and I couldn't, and I realized this was literally like the earth moved under my feet. I feel the sky moving. Right. Well, you know that song.
We know that song. That was Christina Gonzalez reporting. How about this? A rare bird causing some problems for the Bellagio Hotel in Las Vegas. There it is. The hotel famous fountain shown out front has been shut down because of a yellow-billed loon decided to take up residence in the water there. National Audubon Society says there are only about 16,000 of these birds in the world. An expert says the bird likely blew off course during migration north to Alaska. Hotel says the water display is now on pause until that bird picks up and moves on. And up north in Oregon, some bear cubs are getting acquainted with their new home at the Portland Zoo. Say hi to Timber and Thorn. They were rescued after they were found wandering separately in Alaska by wildlife officials. The cubs arrived at the zoo back in December, but were kept behind the scenes until now. Zookeepers say they have grown comfortable in their surroundings and spent most of the time climbing trees and wrestling one another. Well, some big names in the music industry are on their way to Arizona for the annual March Madness Music Festival. The three-day festival set to kick off at Hance Park in Phoenix on April the 5th. Opening night, Mean Girls star and singer Renee Rapp will take the stage with Zedd as the feature headliner. Jonas Brothers will headline on Saturday, and on Sunday, the Black Keys and R&B artist Leon Bridges will perform with a Grammy Award-winning band Mumford & Sons headlining that night. Sounds like a great show. Want to thank you for joining us tonight on this Wednesday. You can stay up to date on all the stories we covered online. Just go to westcoastwrap.com and stream all of our shows on your smart TV by downloading the Fox Local app. I'm Frank Malakote. I hope you have a great night, everybody. Take care.